go. Yeah. All right. Good morning. Can you hear me well out there? Yeah? Okay. Good crowd for so early in the morning. I'm glad you guys are interested in RMF. I'm Stephanie Watt, and I work in the Computing Ecosystem Cyber LOB, and I'll be providing the RMF briefing for you today. I do have to mention this disclaimer for you guys to take a look at. Before we get too into it, I kind of wanted to get a feel for who's in the audience today. Do we have any mission partners out there that have systems hosted in data centers within DISA? Okay, so I expect lots of questions from you. Oh, I do. Trust me. So yeah, this is set up for me to talk and then Q&A after, but I really would appreciate the questions as we go. It helps us stay on track with the topics and just kind of dive as deep as you guys want to go into those topics. For the rest of you guys, you might be here just for the CPE and to learn something new about risk management. I think this will benefit you in a lot of ways if you're learning about risk management and maybe how to implement it. We've done something very new with our packages, and it's very exciting, so there's a lot to learn about that. This is our agenda. We'll go over DISA's RMF transition, and we'll talk about the package overview, and then we'll kind of do a deep dive with the package descriptions in the matrix. New mission partner requirements, terms and condition updates, timeline for release, and additional ecosystem offerings. So what we did is started off with a goal to really streamline the RMF process for our mission partners. DICAP was a little confusing at times, so we just wanted to simplify this as much as possible. So what we did is we reviewed all 2,600 plus CCIs, and we created package that do not have any limitations. And what I mean by limitations is they do not have a categorization, a baseline, or any overlays applied. Basically, everything applies so that we can support the different mission partners and their different categorizations as they come in to the data centers. We also wanted to provide some service options to our mission partners, so you'll see that we have baseline packages. We don't have a single package, so there's multiple service offerings based off of what the mission partner pays DISA to do. And the packages are available now, and we are continuously updating them. Okay, so we have 5 separate baseline packages, and we call them baseline packages because they are based off of standard hosted offerings when you enter a data center. A mission partner will only fall into one of those 5 baseline packages, and you'll see when we discuss the package details, shared and inherited CCIs will gradually increase based off the level of service DISA provides. And note I said CCI there versus control. We do go down to the CCI level in our packages versus controls. So when you see a control, there might be a few CCIs DISA would offer for inheritance, and then a couple CCIs under that control that the mission partner would be responsible for. So it would make it a hybrid control, but we go down to the CCI level for shared and inherited. There are some additional packages that we offer. We call these our elected packages, and they're based off of different criteria. If the mission partner elects COOP, we have a COOP package. If the mission partner aligns with us in writing for CSSP services, we have a package for that. If we're doing the vulnerability management scanning, if the mission partner's on capacity services equipment, or if they have a maintenance contract. So all of those different services have different CCIs in those packages. Here is the big thing to note. This is the real big difference about our packages. They are assessed and authorized for reuse only. They are not accredited. They do not have an ATO. There isn't a boundary on services. So this is the matrix on our 5 baseline packages. The first 3 packages is how we've traditionally operated in DISA and supported our mission partners up until we've created these packages about a year ago. In the first package, you'll see that DISA manages the operating system only. DISA does not have the authority to patch at will, so the program managers do have to approve any changes to the system prior to the changes happening. These are assess-only packages, and the authorizing official is the mission partner. So the OS has now become part of the mission partner's ATO boundary. Package 2 is where we manage the operating system and another platform being database, web, application, one of those but not all of those. And we call that partial application. In this package, DISA does not have the authority to make changes at will. We do have to have mission partner approval prior to doing those. It's assess only, and again, the authorizing official is the mission partner. One thing I did skip over there is the control responsibility. So in package 1, where DISA manages the OS only, there's a lot more shared responsibility between DISA and the mission partner to keep the entire information system updated. So you'll see a lot of mission partner responsibility and shared CCIs in that package. And as we gradually increase across to package 5, the inheritance and shared that DISA provides to the mission partner will gradually increase because our responsibility increases as well. So in package 3, that's where we manage everything. So we manage the operating system for the mission partner and all their platforms. OS, web, database, app, whatever it is they have, DISA manages it. Again, we do not have the authority to patch or secure at will. Mission partner approval is required. And you'll see a lot of shared controls in here, and that is primarily because mission partner approval is required to make changes. So that gives us more shared responsibility between DISA and the mission partner because we can't just go secure the system. Package 4 and 5 are a new way of thinking, and it's where DISA wants to head with securing at will. So it's a new concept, and it's offered for our VOE only, virtual operating environments. And that's because when we make changes to a virtual operating environment, we can take a snapshot of that environment prior to the change, and if anything were to fail during the outage window to make that change, we can quickly recover from the snapshot without extending the downtime. So that's the purpose for VOE only in Package 4 and 5. Package 4 is where DISA manages the operating system only. And you'll see highlighted in blue customer-directed configurations. So what this means is that though DISA has the authority to secure at will in this environment, the mission partner has granted that, the configuration of the application or the information system is still dependent on the mission partner's system design. So if the mission partner system comes in and you have a POEM or a risk acceptance for a specific vulnerability, we will not try to fix that vulnerability. So securing at will means we secure the things that are supposed to be secured and not break the application. So in Package 4, you'll see more inheritable and shared because we do have the authority to secure the operating system at will. When we do security at will, we still follow our change management process, which means, there's still the notification to the mission partner. We require maintenance windows for Package 4 and 5, at least a monthly maintenance window, so that it's agreed between the mission partner and DISA. I know changes are going to happen at this time on this day every month. It helps with isolation and troubleshooting sometimes. So we notify the mission partner of the changes we want to make during the maintenance window, but we do not require approval back. It's just, hey, we're making these changes in your maintenance window, and it gives them an opportunity if there is something that they need to say, hey, wait, no, can't fix that one, they can do that. And then provide the POEM. In Package 5, this is our biggest inheritable package. This is where DISA manages the entire platform, and we secure at will. So DISA has a lot more responsibility in this package. Again, it's assess only, and it's based off of customer-directed configurations. So one of the things I talked about were poems, and the OS basically being accredited under the Mission Partners Boundary, ATO. If there is a vulnerability, an open vulnerability on the system because of a DISA requirement for maybe one of our tools, our monitoring tools, creates an open vulnerability, we will owe the mission partner the poem for that so that you could put it in your package and we will maintain that. And then vice versa, when the mission partner says you can't fix something, then you guys, the mission partner, would own the poem for that. So these are our baseline packages, and then again, on top of that, we also have those elected service packages. So right now, we have a total of 11 NIPR packages available in the IT services, and it's also available on SIPRNet. So there's some new mission partner requirements here. One of the things that we noted when we were reviewing all of these CCIs is that going through some of these things, it was very obvious that DISA is responsible for that CCI. But we couldn't make it inheritable or shared in our EMAS packages because it was system specific. So it required information configuration data about your information system, very specific. If we put that information in our packages, we'd have to put all of our mission partners' information in that package and share it amongst all mission partners. So we couldn't do that. So our way around that was to offer mission partners access to what we call ESPS, and it's our vulnerability management tracking tool. So you guys could gain access to ESPS, and you can pull all of your STIG data and your ACAS data and a lot more. There's a lot of information in there. But you can pull that system-specific information for yourselves on demand to upload into EMAS for your packages. Additionally, we've created an Rmf Requirements form that we request the mission partners to complete prior to granting any inheritance in EMAS, and that's to help us understand what services they're paying for, verify that they're paying for those services, and then grant the inheritance. So when a mission partner comes in and they want to inherit from our packages, they fill out what they think they're paying for, they select 1 through 5 baseline packages, they let us know the elected services that they pay for. We validate it with our billing office and then notify the mission partner that it's available for them to inherit in EMAS. Yeah, so the information there for ESPS account and 2875 is required. That has been automated, so if you go to the ESPS link, you'll get all the information on how to request the account. So one of the things that we've done is we've followed our package updates in line with the terms and condition updates. Terms and conditions are updated twice a year, and as part of our continuous monitoring and improvement of our packages, we are adding CCIs daily to our packages, all of our packages. In the T&Cs, we provide a list of all of the CCIs that are in each package, and we identify if they are shared or inheritable. And that includes the IT service packages that we've discussed, the assess-only packages, and it also includes the data center, that's your facilities package, and your EIBN network package. Anything that's not listed in the T&Cs under these packages as inheritable or shared is mission partner AOR. Additionally, we do have the elected services packages in the T&Cs as well. So if you want to kind of get an idea, I select package 3 and I have COOP and CSSP, you can get an idea of what you're going to be inheriting prior to inheriting it. So when we started this project about over a year ago, we broke it up into 4 phases. Phase 1 is where we reviewed all of the red CCIs to determine if they would be inheritable or shared and which package they would go in. Phase 2, we reviewed all of the yellow CCIs. And then phase 3, we looked at all of the additional privacy overlays. to make sure that we've included every possible configuration any mission partner could come through the door with. Right now, we are in our continuous monitoring phase, so we are updating packages based off of new service descriptions that are being released, for example, CSSP and COOP. But we also have a lot of inquiries from mission partners. So when they don't see a CCI in a package and they think they should be inheriting or sharing it, they want to talk to us about it. So they provide us a list of the CCIs that they request a re-review from us, and we continue to do that daily with tickets and provide a response back to the mission partner. So based off of these inputs from the mission partner and these re-reviews, we are using that information to update our packages. So our total offerings from DISA, when it comes to RMF, we have a data center RMF package that is an ATO. It's for the facilities, and we have a network package, EIBN, and that does have an ATO also for the network connection. There's a DIP package out there, DISA Inherited Policies for mission partners to inherit from. There is work underway to review the DIP and split it out, basically have an internal DISA mission partner package and then an external, because a lot of DISA policies doesn't always apply to Air Force or Navy or other services. And then we have the IT service RMF packages. So when you combine all of these together, you're getting a lot of inheritance and shared from DISA based off the services we provide. So this is some POC information for any mission partners that want to start the inheritance process with DISA. The email there, you would email the engagement team, cyber engagement team, to start your RMF requirements form and complete that. Any ESPS questions, once you get an account to ESPS, there's a lot of self-help demo videos, things like that, available to help train you through it. I also spend time on the phone with some mission partners, walking them through some really neat stuff. It is an awesome tool. It provides a lot of information. And then to order new services, that's the MPEO group. So a lot of mission partners come in and they think that they're paying for a specific service that they're not. So we just refer them back to MPEO, start the SRF process, and get that going with them. All right, that's my last slide. There's a couple things not on this slide I do want to just bring up with you guys. We are definitely hot and heavy working right now on CSSP package, updating our COOP package. One of the big things right now is MilCloud 2.0. So if you have questions about that, I'll see what I can do to answer them. We're looking at how we can leverage these service packages in the MilCloud 2.0 environment, which it seems like it's going to work really well. Okay, I'll open it up to you guys for any questions. Oh, there's a mic right there.
I may have missed this, but do you help programs that are currently in DIACAP use the bridge process to migrate to IRMF?
We provide whatever information and help that we can. We don't provide any DIACAP packages anymore, so okay. It's all RMF.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm from the Joint Service Provider, one of the new kids on the block, and my question is, how much of this information is shareable with the other team members within the DISA enclave?
Everybody, yes.
So that, I mean, we're starting to have that discussion in our level regarding the cloud, and if there's some ideas that maybe we can glean off of, you can share some stuff. Who do we contact to say?
You can contact me.
Okay, great.
Yep. So one of the good things about these packages and assess-only packages, the real intention of an assess-only package is to save resources, time, money. Why reinvent the wheel when you've already got it done? So even if you're providing services to a mission partner, you can model your service package after ours. We can give you an example. We can help you look at your package and how you would want to model it after ours, or leverage what we've got. Because a lot of it's DISA, so you would be able to reuse a lot of our compelling evidence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Good morning.
Good
I'm Meg
morning.
Weinberg. I work for MITRE, and thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I was wondering if you could restate what you were saying about MilCloud 2.0. I understand that they have their IL5, or they're going to have it quite soon. So I'm trying to understand what it is that that you were getting at, because
Okay.
I missed it. Thank you
So
very
the
much.
way I understand in the conversations that we've only had a few over the past 2 or 3 weeks, a few meetings about it. So when mission partners are in MilCloud 1.0 right now, we support them because they are hosted in a data center. So they get that facility package. And then if they're MilCloud Plus, they pay the ecosystem to do system administration, vulnerability scanning, things like that. So they use these packages. They get these packages because we provide that service. So MilCloud 2.0 is somewhat similar. I understand they'll have their own kind of different network and vendor-owned equipment. There are some differences there. So there will be a need for vendor information. But in the MilCloud 2.0 Plus environment, it's going to be very similar to the regular MilCloud we have right now, because the ecosystem will be providing services there as well. So we're just going to leverage those packages here in that environment. The only thing that we've definitely identified in the MilCloud 2.0 environment, mission partners will not be inheriting from the EIBN package. So that's something that they're working on to ensure they have a network package available.
Okay, so let me just ask a follow-up question. So what you're really talking about is not the MilCloud getting its authorization, or
No.
you're talking about the mission partners that are using MilCloud
Yes.
2.0?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Morning, Sean Phelps from the Air Force Lifecycle Management Center. So you mentioned on their SIPR and NIPR packages, but how about those systems that utilize the gold and orange networks? Are those services available yet? Is there work in place to make those available? Or how does that?
So that's a good question. We could go back and look at it. I'm not familiar with the ecosystem having access to those networks or doing any support in those networks, so I'd have to look at that. So yeah, but you brought up another thing, it made me think of another thing, you Air Force. I thought you were going to ask about Exacta, because right now...
No, you said EMAS, so I wasn't going to ask.
Okay, yeah, so right now our packages are EMAS. I'm not aware of any move for DISA to Exacta. So what that means, especially for our Air Force mission partners, is that we've already created zip files. We've got data ready to just give you guys to upload.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Okay, no more questions? One? Okay.
Good morning. I know a lot of you are attending this morning in hopes of getting continuing education credit because the session has been pre-approved. One of the requirements we have with our partners in the academic community is that the minimum amount of time to qualify for academic credit, the session must go an hour, including Q&A. I know you started a few minutes early, but we are short of the hour, and so I'd really like to encourage more interaction and audience questions so that we can get to that goal. From what I've observed so far, it's a very rich discussion. Maybe we can keep that dynamic going.
Would it be possible to start over at the beginning and we could ask questions real time for some of us who may have missed the first few slides?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's start there. All right.
Can I ask one question?
Yes.
So how does this work with incident response? How does your organization work? If these organizations are coming to you and you're basically providing some service of patch management, how does the incident response work in regards to these services coming in?
So I might have questions for you to understand that a little bit better. So what I had mentioned with the secure at will, if we create a problem during a secure at will, we would revert back to the snapshot to prevent incident response. You're talking more about security incident response or?
Yes.
Okay. So we do have some ERT teams, and a lot of our incident response, if you want maximum support, you will need to align with DISA for a CSSP provider. And that's where you're going to get the majority of your incident response from, because they also provide the network analysis, the malicious code reviews, the forensic team. Just at the standard hosting level, you do receive some incident response from the ecosystem, but a lot of it we have to go back to the mission partner to coordinate, especially spillages, something like that, because we need direction from the mission partner on how to handle their data and what needs to be done, what needs to be cleaned, because they're normally the ones that would alert us of a spillage on their side.
Yeah, I'm just trying to gauge how this is similar to NSA's exact accreditation process, and how can this, what you guys are doing differently.
I am not familiar with that process, so I don't know that I could tell you from my perspective, because I'm not familiar with that process.
Okay. All right, no problem. Thanks.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Calvin from DCMA, and I was wondering about the change management systems that you utilize at DISA, and would there be any type of middleware to so it stay in sync with our change management system, or will we have to do it manually every time an update or change happen?
You're not going to like my answer very well. I am familiar with change management. That is not my AOR. I could get you in touch with someone, and I have not heard of anything about our ITSM system. I think that's what you're referring to.
That's correct.
Yeah, and merging that with mission partners. But I know that several mission partners have asked, and they're wanting to get a feed in so that we can share data. That's about all I know.
Okay, thank you. That's good.
But it's not set up that way right now.
All right, thank you.
That's okay. I would thought I did something here. All right. So, are there any questions on maybe how our review process went to determine CCIs for either DISA ownership or mission partner ownership? I can tell you that, okay, we are receiving lists right now from anywhere from 100 to 200 CCIs almost daily from mission partners. So a lot of what we're doing is we're updating our packages for sure, but we're also working with the mission partners to educate on the new concept of the OS being in their boundary, number one. That's very new to mission partners. They don't understand that at first. And then understanding their responsibility and their ability to pull their own data, which that's another thing that I think is very beneficial for mission partners. If you can go in and look and see if DISA is doing the patching or the securing they said they were going to do, if you had a system to go check that, I mean, how beneficial is that for you guys? Holding us accountable for what we say we're going to do. And that's what this system does, ESPS. Go ahead.
Yes, my next question is concerning the RMF process. Now, is the customer actually RMF a product, the system owner, and then provide the DISA, or would DISA work with the system owner and create the RMF package?
So we offer as much assistance as we can, but normally it's on the program manager, ISSM of the system, the information system, to create their own EMAS package or RMF package, and that's because they have to do the categorization. They have to determine what overlays apply, and what baselines they're at.
And once the package is complete, then you would do continuous monitoring of the systems and the scans necessary, or with that?
Yes.
Okay.
So DISA does the monitoring. We do the vulnerability management monitoring, the scanning, and we combine all of that information, STIG results and ACAS results, in ESPS. That's what we use to know what we need to work and fix. And then you guys will have access to it as well. So we keep that information available and up to date for you to put in your package.
Okay, so in a nutshell, the customer is responsible for creating the package, but you are responsible for keeping it updated and providing the customer information.
So, well, keeping the
Keeping the systems updated.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. But we can only go so far when mission partner approval is required to make changes.
Right.
So there, you might see a system that has a lot of vulnerabilities, but the mission partner is in a pond, or it's a financial time period. They can't make changes. So we do see the ebb and flow.
Right, because of mission, the
Yes.
PM may say, hey, we can't accept this change right here.
Yeah.
I understand that. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Good morning. My name is Steve.
Good morning, Steve.
For operating systems that are not standard or not on the packages, such as mainframes,
Thank you.
where would they fall?
Okay, thank you. I did have that on the list, and it just slipped my mind. I appreciate that. Mainframe is a big question we're getting, because when we created the service packages, we originally started with the mid-tier in mind, servers, VOEs, physical servers. And that was because we still had not established the boundary for IBM or Unisys mainframe packages and what that would look like. So we have established the IBM and Unisys mainframe packages. They are accredited with conditions right now. They will not be inheritable to mission partners. Anything associated with mainframe services will be in the IT services packages. So what we're currently doing is working with the mainframe team, Steve's one of them, and collecting that compelling evidence and adding it to our current packages to support the mainframe services. Because a lot of things are different in mainframe on auditing, account management, and different things. So that will be in the IT service packages. So mainframe mission partners will still have to go through the same process as the servers. Thank you. Good question. All right. Let's see. Any other questions?
Just for fun. So you had mentioned the support for MilCloud.
Yes.
What about IL2? Or do you have any support for people who choose to go to the vendor and they're going out through the IAP and they're not on data center? What's available for them?
So that's kind of a new area, and it's kind of led to consulting services, DISA providing consulting services to non-mission partners. So we're kind of taking a look at that and how we can leverage it. I could tell we've been contacted by the USDA, different departments all over the federal service, sharing ideas and assisting with their package development and things like that. So, feel free to reach out, and we'll try and get you in the right direction for that and provide as much information about how we're doing things if you'd like to model after us. Thank you. Good question. So I do have some questions that my team sent me to maybe kind of review with you some of the things that they get a lot. And it's understanding EMAS is a big one. My team spends about 50% of their time helping mission partners understand how to get access and inheritance in EMAS. So one of the tricky things is, I mentioned it's a CCI package. So when you go into request your inheritance, we grant it, and then you go into, select your controls. They're not at the control level. You're not going to see them. A lot of mission partners call us up and said, there's nothing here. Your packages are empty. And we're like, no, they're not. So We will assist to go through that process, but just know that you have to expand the controls and go down to the CCI level. And that's where you're going to find the information. That was a big one. And again, the TNCs is a great reference to stay up to date on what's in the packages and what's in AOR responsibility. We are working with the TNC group to see if we can update that list more than twice a year, because that's how quickly our packages are evolving. So we're not even a year old. We'll be a year old in October, and we're still doing a lot of work and growing. So, and then everybody does understand the whole STIG ESPS concept. That's another big one that we get. We see that the 1 to 200 list of CCIs we get questions on and emailed almost daily from mission partners. A lot of that information is available in ESPS. It's STIG-related data or ACAS scan-related data. Anything that's system-specific that's going to require proof of compliance for a configuration on the system is going to be found in ESPS and ACAS about 90% of the time. There are going to be situations where that's not true, but we'll assist you in getting that compelling evidence through the ecosystem.
You brought up ESPS. For the mission partners, do you get many calls or interfaces where they ask, well, how can I get this data out of ESPS because I'd like to make my own spreadsheet and put my own slicers, Excel slicers in it to be able to provide better reporting?
Yes, they get creative. And those options are available in ESPS export options. There's different file formats you can choose to export the data. And one good point you reminded me of there's the ability to take and export the data from ESPS, and then you upload it into STIG Viewer. And once you export it from STIG Viewer, it puts it in the proper file format. All you have to do is upload into EMAS, and it will auto-associate vulnerabilities to whatever CCIs that are applicable in your package. We are working on getting a feed from ESPS to EMAS so that will happen automatically for you guys. That is on the list for our developers. But in the meantime, there is an ability for you guys to get the data, transfer it from STIG Viewer, and just upload it. And it saves a lot of time doing it that way. Yeah. So one of the other things, and I think this is the last question from my team to hit on, when you're reviewing the CCIs, a lot of them start off with the org defining or the org documenting. And then when you get down to like the third or fourth CCI from that control, it's implementing and enforcing or applying. So a lot of the times the mission partners are like, well, DISA does that, but we don't, because we need the mission partner to define their requirements. We need the mission partner to document it, normally in a system design doc, system build plan, SLA. Some of those things need to be defined by the mission partner, and then DISA will implement the mission partner's requirements and provide the compelling evidence. So we're seeing a lot of times that we can't provide you compelling evidence for specific CCIs because you haven't defined it yet. So that's one thing to be mindful of when you're looking at those CCIs. Anything else? All right. So everybody, just real quick, everybody understands the whole POEM ownership and responsibility between DISA and mission partners. So if you aren't letting it happen, you own the POEM. If DISA is not letting it happen, the vulnerability to be fixed, then we would own the POEM. It's basically how it comes down. Yes.
Just to bring an onion level slice to that, if it's a DISA maintained POEM, how does the mission partner have visibility into the review process, the mitigation process, and vice versa? If it's a mission partner POEM, what kind of checks and balances are between the two so that these POEMs just don't sit there for weeks, months, and so on?
So all of our poems are completely visible to you in EMAS. You have access to see our poems. One of the things that we just recently did for a mission partner, and I will end up supporting all mission partners in the end, is there was a field in the poem, the resource field. It wasn't a requirement to complete in EMAS, so we didn't complete it. One of our mission partners came back to us and said, hey, I'm going through an audit, and my auditor says that needs to be populated. And we said, okay. So we populated it. So you have full access, it's completely transparent, of our poems. The vice versa is not true. We don't have access to see your packages unless you grant us access, which you probably wouldn't want to do, maybe. So what we do is we ask you guys for your poem. So you'll provide it to us, and we load it into ESPS so the technician knows the mission partner has a poem, do not fix. So we have a capability in ESPS to share that ecosystem-wide. But we do require you guys to provide it to us, especially the secure at will application or packages. That's very important, because if we're not letting the system administrators and the database administrators, web, whatever, know not to fix something based off of system design, they're going to fix it, and then your app's going to go down. So it's very important that we do receive those poems for those packages.
Alternate question regarding the just leveling the playing field as assess only. What was the philosophy, the deciding factors regarding just having assess only versus assess and authorize?
Okay. Well, so I'll back up a little bit because I have time, right? So assess only, we got a group. Well, I'll back up. So we went to the ecosystem a couple years ago, but we started out as decks. So in the deck, every deck had an ISSM, security chief, that kind of role. When we merged into the ecosystem, they were all combined into the cyber LOB, so we had lots of ISSMs and security chiefs. So we got a good group of them together, I think about eight or nine of us, and in addition with my team, so that was an additional 4 or 5 people, and we locked ourselves up for like 8 months just reviewing all the CCIs. But one of the first things we had to do was determine how to even approach these packages. So we did the research on the OSD's RMF knowledge service page and went through basically the questions, and it led us to, it's an assess-only package. And at that time, that was all the information they really had on the knowledge service from the Undersecretary of Defense. So we started pushing this assess only. Our AO, bought onto the idea. We got the stakeholders involved, and so we just grew from there. But our mission partners had a lot of concerns to start with. But one of the main concerns about assess only is that it did not have AO approval. So a lot of mission partners were like, okay, they fought the assess only, they finally bought into that, and then they were like, wait, but we still don't have AO approval. Your AO, how do I know your AO is okay with this? So we developed the concept more is assess and authorize for reuse. And that is a true part of RMF. It just wasn't something displayed to us at the time. But now it is. It's on the RMF knowledge service page for the OSD. So you could go out there and read all about it. And basically, you just kind of go down this checklist. Do you do this? And it just led us there for assess only. But now we do the assess only and authorize for reuse, and we do have AO approval on our packages, just not accredited.
One more question on the ESPS specifically. When tracking vulnerabilities and whatnot, are you requesting the mission partners' security classification guides, because different SCGs may classify the level of vulnerabilities associated with a specific system?
So that's something.
And protecting accordingly?
Yeah, so that's something that we really used to do a lot in DICAP. We really needed some of that information. For RMF, I don't know that we really are collecting that, but it should be part of the onboarding process when you first onboard. To us, no, we go off the standard CAT levels. So if it comes in as a CAT 1, it's a CAT 1 to us. And it might be downgraded to a CAT 2 or 3 for you, but once we engage in that mediation or mitigation request and approval to fix, that's where we would probably gain that information, and we'll make a note in ESPS, whether it's open or closed, and maybe that this is downgradable per mission partner classification guide to a CAT whatever.
Okay, so like in our case, our security classification guide, and depends on which AO we're supporting, is specific to any vulnerability that's identified on system XYZ is classified secret or top secret, just the fact that that's there. So
Yes.
Knowing that that information is available, I was just looking to see how that's protected.
So
in
we do have
relationship.
ESPS on SIPRnet. So if it was secret, we would capture it there. And we only have NIPR and SIPR.
Right.
ESPS on NIPR and SIPR.
Absolutely.
Anything else, we wouldn't capture that data there.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, my name is James, and I work for I-5 Tier 3. Anyway, I'm in ISSO,
Okay.
and I am responsible for making sure that everything is closed. But sometimes I find out that I can't close because of a poem. And that asset is a standalone, like a Zone D. And that system window service can't be connected to the internet for downloading or updating. So is that still applicable? Is the poem still applicable?
I would really tricky question there a little bit, but you'd have to go back to who wrote the poem, who submitted the poem, who's owning it, and ask them why it's there, and if it does apply to the standalone system.
Right. Yeah, it's a standalone system because I have to update RMF, and I have a lot of work on EMAS. I mean, every month last year I was doing transferring things to RMF. But anyway, with the standalone, if you go.
Sure.
I'm trying to buy some time as well here.
I like it.
So if you check with the poem, if I still need to use the poem for the Zone D, because that service will never connect to the internet for updating. The window only connects to the internet for downloading. Otherwise, it doesn't close, and it has to be closed through the poem. I mean, even though I'm concerned about how to fix that, because in the past, we could download on a CD.
Yes.
And then install it on the service for updating. But now, you cannot download. You have to be until you're connected to the internet. So that's something that's violating Zone D.
Okay, so the finding is you have to be connected to the internet for updates. Okay, and you're saying you can't use the CD anymore?
You can download onto the CD and install it on the server, but understanding that for the Windows server, say it's Windows 2012, if you want to update that, it doesn't work. You try to download, it doesn't work. It has to be connected to the server to do that download. I've tried it in the past and it wasn't successful.
Interesting. There's a couple routes you could go. Just suggestions here. you could get a waiver for a removable hard drive, possibly. And overall, if you're working with your validator in RMF, I think that you can explain that you're meeting that intent of that control, or it's not applicable because it's in a standalone environment. It shouldn't apply. Yep. And yeah, there's no sense in carrying poems for no reason. That's just a pain in a lot of work.
With all the controls that from the application mission partners to the data centers and the different packages, why does DoD not have a standard timeline for closure of open vulnerabilities, Cat 1, Cat 2, and Cat 3?
Yeah. So it's a good question. I can dig into that. I can't answer that today, but I can follow up with the AO's office and bring it up as a topic of something that we need. We have been discussing it lately. There are, that standard ACAS 30-day window, and that's really enforced through CCRI and your scores for that. But yeah, when it comes down to the STIG or the STIG vulnerabilities really don't have clear windows on requirements. So we can work with the AO, and I think they used to have a standard policy letter, but it's been outdated and not updated and redone. So we'll bring that up with them. Thank you.
If a program is working with DISA to go through RMF for accreditation, but there's findings achieved during that, or there's some findings found during the process, do you help in the high-risk escalation process to resolve those findings? What kind of support do you provide then?
Okay, so yes. Yes to all that around. So a mission partner, what we are experiencing now, we tell the mission partner, go out to ESPS, pull your STIG data to upload into EMAS. Well, they pull the STIG data and they're like, why are these open? Why aren't these fixed? And we research, and most times that we haven't been given approval to fix. So we work with the mission partner and they say, okay, yes, go fix these in the next maintenance window. So we continue to work that process to get those closed so that it does show up clean and fixed in EMAS. And that is all through another process called RTM. It's our Remediation Task Management. And again, this is where ESPS comes in very handy. Mission partners can go into ESPS and look at a vulnerability, and they can actually select and request DISA to fix that vulnerability, and we'll get it on the schedule to get it into the next maintenance window versus us trying to reach out and request approval. Mission partners can go in and give pre-approval in advance. And it really does speed up the process. But yes, we are doing that right now with a lot of mission partners. They'll send in a list of the vulnerabilities that they need addressed through the STIG or ACAS findings so that they can continue to pull the reports and update it to get it clean in EMAS. So that would involve a lot of ecosystem team support. RMF, if you're basing it off RMF, there is one in, and that would be through the cyber engagement or sustainment team, depending on if you're in sustainment or if you're onboarding. And they will get your request to my team, and my team will work with the ecosystem to get you the information or put you in contact with the right technicians or group to support closing those vulnerabilities.
When you do your vulnerability patching, do you all send out any kind of outage messages to the mission partners or to the system's specific owners to let them know that you will be doing a patching for X vulnerability based off of the agreement that you currently have with whatever level you're at?
Yes, that's part of our RTM process as well, our release management. We should be notifying the mission partner in advance of things that we're going to fix on their systems and request approval, because we're still, a lot more mission partners than I expected signed up for Secure at Will, but it's only maybe 10% of our, if that, of our workload. Most mission partners are still on approval required, and that's fine. So that approval is required for us to fix things. So if that's not happening, we would need to take a look at that. Yes. I have one more question, though. Okay, go ahead.
With all the packages that are available to the mission partners, has DISA looked at updating the catalog of services for where the
Yes.
additional services are allowed, such as IA support at the application level, to indicate which package that would go with?
Okay, yes. So DISA is currently working on updating the service catalog altogether. We're doing user-based testing right now. They are looking at making it basically a storefront for mission partners. It's a one-stop shop to go and order services and understand what's available. And we are working on developing an RMF page for that to help support that. So it's coming, but it's not here yet. Yeah. Hi.
Hello there, my name is Sean Carroll. You mentioned that you do send out a notice just before you're about to roll out, and that should all be scheduled in advance, but is there a way to, in an emergency situation or an operational situation, yep, we approved it, new operational requirement came up, we have to turn off to prevent you guys from taking down the system at this time. Is that built in? Is there a mechanism, or is that a phone call and kind of, hey, can we try to get a hold of someone?
So-
Second, assuming in a perfect world, you do the updates and everything works great, and maybe you addressed this and I missed it, but let's say you do the updates, you secure it, and then we find out afterwards, okay, this did break something.
We got to roll back.
How do we?
Yeah. Okay, so first part of the question, we do have an emergency change process as part of our change management. So our standard, and these documents are in the EMAS package, I don't have them memorized, but I believe it's a 72-hour window. We have to submit the change request and get that prior approval from mission partners through our ticketing process before we can make the changes. One of the requirements for change request is to have rollback procedures. So if we do have to roll back, we will. And then if the mission partner wants us to fix a vulnerability, but something technically is not working and it's bringing down their app in fixing that vulnerability, then the mission partner would own the POEM, but we would work with them and whatever vendor or technology, tech management to help resolve that issue. But until the application can be compatible with vendor software, the mission partner will own that POEM.
I always observe that the user is always right. And when I heard the dialogue going back and forth between the coordination on change management and implementing changes and patches between DISA and the mission partners, what immediately popped into my mind was, where's the end user in all this? Because in my world, when I was a J6, if you didn't collaborate with the combatant commander, you were absolutely wrong. And I know DISA has gotten crosswise with a few combatant commanders over the years as a result of lack of staff work, basically. Mm-hmm. So I'm wondering if the process includes the combatant commanders who are supported.
So I will caveat with this: is change management is not my AOR, but I do know some stuff about it. Typically, we would rely on the mission partner to engage with their mission partners on any outages that they've coordinated or we've coordinated with them. So we support several mission partner portals that support other applications. So that mission partner has coordinated with us for a downtime. They would need to coordinate that downtime out to their mission partners. There might be some exceptions within DISA on that, based off of the level of support a mission partner might be paying some additional fees for some sort of dedicated change management support. That might be, I'm not sure. But typically, it's on the mission partner to notify their end users.
Okay, and this may be a little bit of a curveball, but do you know what the SLA is between when a new STIG is released by DISA on the IASE and when the results are expected to be available in ESPS? On a
when the results are
yeah,
okay.
Right. So if they come out with a new rule in the
we don't have a rule for
STIG
that. No, we don't, because ESPS is a a GOTS, so it's internally developed. But they do have, they try to stay within a 30-day window. So when a new STIG is released, they try to do their beta testing 2 weeks, and then the pre-prod testing, and then release 30 days after. That's typically
Okay.
their schedule.
So the service level objective then, I guess, is about 30 days?
Yes, approximately. But if I could get you more information if I contacted them directly and verified. But they also have release notes on ESPS, and it talks about some of their scheduling and things they found during their testing for new STIGs.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was more interested because we're trying to negotiate with DRSI. From a CCRI perspective, apparently today they use the SCC tool in their CCRIs,
Yeah.
and they will download the content off of the IASE
Yes.
and run the new STIG the day after it's released. And none of our enterprise sensors can actually get.
You
the
know, we
results
got
back
caught
that
in
fast.
that 1 year also, big time on a database STIG. We definitely had to deal with it. I know what you're talking about, but what we've had some success with the DRSI team is explaining the ESPS tool, and they've actually used that tool during some audits as well. We've convinced them that it's accurate. But
Okay.
it depends on the auditor, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it wasn't a question of accuracy; it was a question of currency, right? So.
Well, yeah, I mean, they use, yeah, pretty much.
So, okay, well, and because I've been talking to like the ACAS vendor and the HPSS vendor for policy auditor to try to get an understanding of what's a reasonable thing to ask them. Can you give us a 2 week or a 30-day grace period between when you release a new STIG and when we're supposed to have results, against it in ESPS or CMRS or EMAS or wherever. That,
Oh, yeah, CMRS. That's
if you
probably
want to
behind.
do automation, you're going to have to do a thing that can actually be supported by the vendors. So I guess I'm just looking for support so I can go back to the DRSI team and say, that we think this is a reasonable time period to actually give people as a requirement.
I would say a reasonable time period would be 30 days. I mean, that would just be my take on it. But I'm going to bring that up with our AO channel, also our DISA AO, and try and get a feel on defining that so that we aren't surprised by that one-day requirement. Like, a STIG was released midnight last night, and you guys are here to audit me at 8 a.m.
Okay, I mean, because it was the issue was brought up by your HPSS global admins at the ecosystem that they were unhappy with McAfee because it took them 8 days to get the new STIG after it was released, and they apparently got written up in a CCRI for not having current results. So,
Yeah.
if 30 days is the reasonable thing, then I'd like to take that back. So, all right,
Yes,
thank you.
I will. Thank you. That's a great suggestion. All right. Anything else? No? I want to thank you guys for your time today. I really appreciate it. I'm also going to be over at the DISA booth for Meet the Subject Matter Expert if you guys have any additional questions you think of later. I'm over there at 10 o'clock. Thank you. Have a good day.